There is so much to do at Universal Orlando Resort that sometimes the only way to do it is to literally clone yourself. Here's our list of the 20 must-dos. When coming to Universal Orlando, it can be overwhelming trying to decide what to do first, so let's talk about all of those must-dos you're going to find for all of Universal, including both theme parks and the water park. The first must-do up on our list is something that is relatively new here to Universal, and that is explore all of Minions Land. So if you were unaware, recently Universal kind of rethemed this opening area to become Minion Land. You can still find Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, but now you can also find rides like VillainCon Minion Blast. You can find Freeze Ray Pops, Pop Banana, and the Minion Cafe, as well as some new character meet and greets for the Illuminations characters. This is one of my favorite things to do right now in Universal because I think it is so much fun and the theming is so well done. I am obsessed with Minion Con Villain Blast, which is like a standing, moving, shooting game. It's so weird. You can keep your lifetime score up on the Universal app, and there's just a lot of fun things to do. For me, one of my favorite things is to try the Freeze Ray Pops, which I lovingly call Pop Banana, even though that's not what it's called. And I love the Minion Pop. It's essentially popsicles, but they're great on hot days, albeit sticky. And I also love Minion Cafe because they have a really elevated the food experience that you can find in Universal. And typically Universal is not known for its food. So I think this one is a must-do because this is the newest kind of land here in Universal. It's got a ton of new experiences, great snacks, great sit-down quick service options. And I think if you're looking for a newer, more elevated Universal experience, this is going to be the place to find it. Now for all of our must-dos today, we are going to talk about who probably would not like these must-dos. And starting off, if you're not a Minions fan, you might find this land a little bit childish, maybe slightly annoying, but I can't lie to you, I think it's tons of fun. And if you can get over the theming, if you're not a big fan of that, I think you'll find a lot of fun in this land. Now for our first must-do here in Islands of Adventure, this one you can actually do park to park. You're gonna have to become a wizard for the day, and if you don't, you're really missing out. So when I say becoming a wizard for a day, what do I mean? If you don't already know, Universal is home to the incredible Harry Potter Wizarding World. There are two, one where you can check out Hogsmeade and the other where you can check out Diagon Alley. They are absolutely beautiful. They're so incredible. They have some of the best rides and foods in the parks, and it is just an incredible part of Universal. Now, not only do they have awesome rides and food and experiences, you can actually become a wizard by going into Ollivanders, finding your wand, and learning to do magic. The thing that is so incredible about the Wizarding World and Harry Potter is that it actually feels alive because of how often things come to life and how much magic you can do around the parks. It's one of my favorite things about Harry Potter is just feeling like you're a part of the movies and books and the stories and feeling really immersed. Like, can you see this feather? It's writing names every time a witch or wizard is born, and I just think that's really neat. And now that I said it, a witch or wizard hasn't been born. That's on me. That's on me. This is a must-do because the Wizarding World is really what kind of made Universal as exciting and as major as it is right now. So in the past, Universal was a lot of fun and we've always really loved it, but the Wizarding World kind of took it to a new level and made it compete even more with Disney World. Between the amazing shows, the experiences, everything else we've talked about, plus Florian Fortescue ice cream, there's really nothing that you can go wrong with in these lands, and I think that no one should skip this one. Not everybody's gonna love Harry Potter, but you are gonna like the rides and the food at the very least. Now for our next one, if you're not saving E.T.'s home planet, you are missing out on a major must-do. So if you did not know, there's actually an E.T. adventure ride here where you kind of get to step into the story of E.T. and he needs your help. He needs help saving his home planet and you have to get him there before it is too late. This one's a lot of fun because it kind of is reminiscent of the Peter Pan ride over in Magic Kingdom. You fly high over the city on your bike, you go to a new planet. It's simple and it's family friendly, which is why I think it's definitely a must-do. Now, why do I think that this one is a must-do? Honestly, it's just a lot of fun. This one is family friendly, and that's why I think you have to do it if you're here with you and your kiddos, or even just you and your friends. It's a staple, it's a classic, and this one has been around for a really long time, and it kind of, I think, is really telling of what Universal used to be like and what it's growing into, and I think it's a lot of fun and it's a staple. Not everyone's gonna like this one though. This one is kind of in the kiddie ride section of things, but if you're willing to kind of overlook that, have a little bit of fun, definitely help him save his home planet. So yeah, we just helped E.T. save his home planet, but have you considered helping save your planet? Because next up for your must-do, you're gonna need to become a Men in Black. You save the world a lot here in Universal, and I think that that's something you should be really proud of. So our next big must-do is here in the back of Universal, and you are gonna need to become a Men in Black. So here at Men in Black Alien Attack, this is a shooting ride game that kind of takes you into the world of Men in Black, and you're finding out if you have what it takes to become one of them, the Alien Hunters. This one is a lot of fun. It's very similar to things like Buzz Lightyear over in Disneyland, because it's more of a free shooting game rather than the Buzz Lightyear here in Walt Disney World, but really tend to love this one. Well, and it also has an incredible single rider line, which not all single riders are made equal, so we're gonna hop in line and check it out. Just finished up. Now this is one that actually, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love shooting rides, shooting games, and things like that. I'm not the best at this one, but I think it's so much fun, and the reason I think this one is a must-do is because it's kind of more of an elevated shooting ride game. It's more adult. It's actually a little bit more competitive. That's why I'm not super good at it. But I also think the Men in Black movies are so much fun. They're kind of classics at this point, and I think you should step into the world just to have the experience. And with that single rider line, it's not going to take that much time. Now, the only peeps who I don't think would like this one is sometimes if you get motion sick, this one kind of spins you around as you're enjoying it. And also, if you're just really not into those more like, I say kiddie shooting games, I don't think it counts as one of those, but if that's just not what you're interested in, maybe skip it, grab a beer, grab a snack, and let your family enjoy that one. Our next must-do is kind of in the same vein as becoming a wizard, doing all that fun stuff, and this one you can actually do in both parks, but if you're here, you have to grab a Butterbeer. If you don't know what a Butterbeer is, essentially it is a very famous drink that is in the books and the movies, and it's actually not beer. It's like a sweet kind of butterscotch drink. You can get it hot, cold, or frozen, but my preferred is frozen, and I'm dragging this familiar face with me to get a Butterbeer because she's gonna pop in and out of this randomly, and I think that's fun. So over in Islands of Adventure, there's actually a handful of places to grab a Butterbeer. You can grab, there's 2 walk-up carts, and then you can also grab one at the 3 broomsticks, and then over here there's 2 different spots. One is at the Leaky Cauldron, and then one is here where we are, and there's actually a handful of options here. Since you're here with us and super engaged, what are the things that you can get here?
You can get the Wizarding World exclusive beers, you can get the Butterbeers, warm Butterbeer and cold Butterbeer and frozen Butterbeer are all available here. You can get fire whiskey, you can get the...
She's reading the menu. You're reading the menu?
You can get the Gilly water, which is just bottled water, but wizarding.
Pumpkin juice.
Pumpkin juice on tap.
I want pumpkin juice, dang it. I love pumpkin juice. So here it is, my Butterbeer from Fountain of Fair Fortune. I do tend to go with the frozen Butterbeer. I think that it's best, it's my preferred, but you can be wrong if you want. It's totally up to you. The hot one is actually really good on those random cold days that you'll find in Universal, but let's go ahead and give this a try. All right, friends, cheers. Fun fact, you guys, this is something I'm doing for me. Like, I know that you guys have heard us talk about like the silly little bits we do for ourselves. I'm playing a game with just me and whoever's around, and it's normally when we try our coffees, and I call it magic or tragic. Magic if is as if it's really good, tragic if it is bad, and I feel like I might start doing that with my food reviews. We'll see. We'll see if it sticks. You never know with this crew, but I'm gonna play at least right now with this Butterbeer, and I'm gonna say this is magic because it is so good. This is one thing that I get almost every single time we're in Universal. It is cold, it's so delicious. The reason I think this is a must-do is because there are so many different kinds of Butterbeer you can try. You can try frozen, hot, or just cold. I think you should try it at least once in your life. It's a staple here in Universal. It's a staple in the Wizarding World in particular, and it's pretty darn good. Now, as much as I love it, and I do think that this is a must-do, not every must-do is going to be for everyone. So there are gonna be some friends who don't really love this one. If you're not into super sugary drinks, maybe steer clear of the Butterbeer, but you still need to do something exclusive, and there are tons of Universal exclusive beers that you definitely should try out, but several are in the Wizarding World. For example, this is the Daisy Root Draft. Quincy really loves it, tends to be your favorite, and if you want to hear more about those, you can go check out her must-dos in the Wizarding World. But fun fact, whether you're having a Butterbeer or just one of the exclusive drinks, you can actually take it on the Hogwarts Express, which is our next must-do, if you can, because this is not one everybody can do. All right, so our next must-do brought us back here over to Islands of Adventure, and it's actually something you can do in both parks, but you need a ticket to both parks to do it. And that's because our next must-do is hop on the Hogwarts Express. So if you don't know what it is, the Hogwarts Express is essentially a train ride that takes you to and from Universal to Islands of Adventure. You get to experience going to Hogwarts just like Harry did, and you don't necessarily see out the windows, but you do get to watch some really cool scenes that take you right into the movie. If you're able to, this one is a must-do because it's just a really fun, interesting way to go from park to park. Now, you do have to have a park hopping ticket if you want to be able to do this one, but if you're a Harry Potter fan, or honestly, if you just kind of want to save your legs a little bit, definitely check this one out. This one is so much fun. It's great to take a drink, enjoy it, and relax. Now, not for everybody, of course, just like everything else. And if you're looking to get here quickly, it is about a 4 to 5 minute walk between parks, whereas this can take a few minutes just to ride, not including waiting in line. Lines for this one can get pretty high, all the way up past an hour. Traditionally, the shortest wait is going to be going from Islands of Adventure to Universal. People tend to like to go from Universal to Islands of Adventure because that's the route that Harry takes. He gets to go from London here to Hogsmeade, but if you're looking for a shorter wait, definitely, pro tip, go from Islands of Adventure to Universal. Not going to be for everybody. If you're looking to get there quickly, just consider walking, but if you want a little bit of fun and you want to rest and sit down for a minute, definitely take the Hogwarts Express. Now, while we're here in Islands of Adventure, and we are going to be going back and forth, but while we're here, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not talk about our next must-do, which is riding on a magical motorbike. So this in front of me is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, and it's a mouthful, but it's worth it every time. Hagrid's is an outdoor coaster where you get to sit in a motorbike with a sidecar and fly through the adventures of the Forbidden Forest and go to class with Hagrid as you're kind of learning about magical creatures, because of course that's Hagrid's passion. Now, Hagrid's is amazing, and because of that, it is the most popular ride in this park, which is why we recommend rope dropping it, actually. If you don't know what that is, essentially it's getting to the park before it opens, so that way you can be one of the first people in line. This one is amazing. It typically finds itself at like 100 minutes, 120 minute wait every single day, and even higher as the year goes on and those spring break and summer crowds start coming out. This one is a must-do because I think it is the most exciting and surprising roller coaster that Universal has created. Velocicoaster is amazing, but this one has a lot of thrills and surprises that if you don't know about it, will truly shock you. It took my breath away the first time I rode it, and every single time it gives me that same magical feeling no matter how many times I ride it. This isn't going to be for everybody. If you're not a big thrill ride fan, maybe be a little bit cautious, but I think everyone should try it out. Even if you don't like massive coasters, still give this one a go. It is not that scary, it's not that big, but it is worth the wait and it is worth the experience at least once in your life. Now, we've had a lot of really fun adventures, so at this point I think it is a must to kind of snack around Universal. So that's our next must-do. So honestly, Universal is not typically known for their food, but I highly recommend snacking around because Universal food has been on the come up lately. There are tons of amazing snacks through here, one of which that I particularly love is here at Central Park Crepes. They have some amazing sweet and savory crepes that do switch out from time to time, but I love things even at Minion Cafe, which we've already talked about, Mel's Drive-In. There's a lot of really good options that honestly people are just not talking about. So why is snacking around a must-do? Well, it's because out of all of the things that you truly have to do, eating is going to be one of them. So you might as well enjoy it and grab something good. Now, if you're looking to save some money, this is not going to be your #1 must-do by any means. You can definitely bring in snacks and drinks to the park as well as lunch and sandwiches and things like that. But if you're here and you want the full experience, definitely consider snacking around. And if you're not entirely sure what to eat, we have a full video of eating everything in the Wizarding World, and we also have a full video of all of the best non-Harry Potter eats up on the channel right now. This next must-do might not be perfect after a big meal, but you definitely need to be looking for the thrills when you're here in Universal. Just like those guys. If you weren't already aware, and I bet you were if you're watching this video, Universal tends to have those big, thrilling coasters that you're not necessarily going to find over in Disney World. For example, Rip Ride Rocket, which is here in Universal. You can also find amazing rides like Velocicoaster over in Islands of Adventure, which is a Jurassic World themed roller coaster that literally will knock your socks off. Now, I'm a Disney girl through and through, but I love Universal, and one of the main reasons to come here rather than going to Disney World is because of these rides. That's why this one is a must-do. If you're not taking in the thrills, you are not fully experiencing all of Universal. Now, this is not going to be for everyone. I am not typically a thrill person myself, but you can still find a lot of fun, exciting things here that you aren't going to find at Disney World, but this is why you come to Universal. Okay, we've had a lot of thrills so far, but for our next must-do, you're gonna need to pop into Simpsons Land. So another major land that they have here is Simpsons Land. You actually get to step into Springfield, just like in the show, and you're gonna find things like the Simpsons ride. There's several dining options, like at the Quickie Mart, and then you're gonna find the beer garden as well. There is tons of fun little stuff to do over here, and honestly, we find ourselves at the beer garden just kind of kicking our feet up and relaxing for a little while a lot when we are here at Universal. Now, this land tends to be pretty skippable for some people, especially if you're not a major Simpsons fan, but I do think it's a must-do, mainly because we don't know how long this is gonna stick around. So if you don't know, Disney actually owns the rights to The Simpsons, which is kind of a newer acquisition for them, and frankly, we don't really know how that's gonna affect the theme parks just yet. It could be something similar to Marvel Islands of Adventure, where Universal owns theme park rights, but Disney owns the characters. That's why I think this is a must-do. This is probably not going to be around forever. Grab a big pink donut and just enjoy it while you can. So that way in 10 years, you can tell your kids or your friends, yep, I was there. I saw that. Now, if you're not a Simpsons fan, this might not be as exciting to you, but anyone can enjoy a big pink donut. They're good, they're sweet. Grab some tacos at the Bumblebee Man truck, which is my personal favorite, and enjoy it while you can.
Hello, welcome to Deb's Don'ts. My name is Deb, and I am thrilled to be back at the halfway point of the video you are currently watching right now. I keep asking the producers when it's gonna be my time to shine, you know, when I'm gonna get a video of my very own, but the producers keep telling me it's not the right time yet. So the more and more I talk to the producers, the more they remind me of my ex-husband. Annie Osmond, welcome to Deb's Don'ts, where I tell you what you don't do at Universal Studios. Don't trust anyone in a three-piece suit. Yes, I said it. There I was at Universal Studios minding my own business when a man in a three-piece suit walks up and says, "Hey, you look like you could fight some aliens." I said, "Little old me?" He said, "Absolutely. Do you know there are aliens everywhere?" And I said, "I do. I do know there are aliens everywhere. I'm on the message boards. Do you recognize my username? Take me to your Deborah at hotmail.com. He did not recognize my username. Then before I could say anything else, I was in a massive building being handed a black suit. I said, "Do you have anything in Navy?" This little guy says, "Zeep, zlop, zeep, zlop." I didn't want to offend, so I said, "I love your country." Then bam, aliens were everywhere. Heads were rolling, I was screaming, but by the grace of Kevin Costner, we did it. We saved the human race, and as a thank you for my service, this man tried to erase my memory using a flash camera. Little did he know, my lenses are prescription, so I remembered everything. So do not trust anyone in a three-piece suit unless you want your heart broken. You know what, Barbara? We're gonna create our own group, the Girls in Shawls. Here comes the Girls in Shawls. It's got a nice ring to it, Barbara. Barbara! She likes it.
Another super fun thing that you need to check out while you're in Universal is actually meeting unique characters, which is a little bit off the beaten path in my opinion. Disney World is definitely known for those character meet and greets, and I feel like Universal is definitely not, but you'll be surprised who you can find here. So Universal probably has a lot more characters than you realize. You can meet the Simpsons, you can meet Scooby-Doo and the gang, which actually Scooby tends to be kind of hard to find, but you can meet the entire gang from Scooby-Doo. You can find people like Betty Boop. You can find Marilyn Monroe, the Blues Brothers. I mean, there are so many. Beetlejuice. There are so many characters that you might not even realize are there. It's so much fun to meet these characters. It's definitely a different experience in Disney World because a lot of times you might not even fully know their story, but I think I see Betty Boop now. Hi, how are you today? Doing great. I was wondering if I could grab a picture with you.
Of course, I love your makeup.
Thank you so much.
Your earrings.
Thank you.
Big Shrek fans. Okay, so we just got to meet Betty Boop, and honestly, I think it's a must-do because it's just a lot of fun. It's a quick, easy something that's really gonna add to your day and make it more of a full-fledged experience without taking up a ton of time. Disney characters tend to take a long time if they're more popular. For example, Mickey and Minnie over at Hollywood Studios roughly have about an hour wait every single day, if not more. And that's a long chunk of your day. You could be doing a lot of things, eating a lot of snacks, but instead you're waiting for characters, which is great. I love it. But I think it's a lot of fun that you can come over here, casually meet like a really famous character that might be a little bit older like Betty Boop, but still have a lot of fun and have a neat little interaction. So we've started scratching the surface here at Universal, but what about the things outside of the theme parks? That's right, I'm talking water parks. And honestly, a must-do if you're coming to Universal Resort is Volcano Bay. And I never really thought I'd say that about a water park. So if you don't know what Volcano Bay is a really incredible water park where you're kind of stepping into a really secret island and you're finding tons of super exciting foods and rides. So they have things like Krakatoa Aqua Coaster, which is a literal water roller coaster. They have incredible food like Laturi Fusion ice cream. And honestly, I don't tend to love water parks, but I have a lot of fun at this one. The reason I consider Volcano Bay to be a must-do is because Universal is not as large as Disney. And so if you're doing a full-fledged vacation here, sometimes you might want to fill a day or two by relaxing. Now, of course, they have pools if you're staying at the resorts, which we're going to talk about in a little while, but if you're looking for a more broad experience that's a lot of fun, definitely check out Volcano Bay. I'm not a water parks fan traditionally, and I have so much fun here. The bars are incredible, the food is elite, and I think some of the best food at any theme park in Orlando. And if you want to see more about it, we have tons of videos on the channel right now. Now, a water park is not everyone's cup of tea, and if you already know that about yourself, definitely consider skipping Volcano Bay. But I encourage you to have an open mind. Just because you are not somebody who loves a big water drop ride or a water roller coaster doesn't mean you can't have a fun time there. I don't typically love water rides, and I still love the food and the experience and the relaxation, so definitely consider doing this one. Now, another must-do in Universal is a little bit different because this is not something typically people think of when they think of Universal, but a must-do is staying on property. So Universal Resort does not have as many hotels as Disney, but they do have Universal's Endless Summer Resort, which actually has two separate parts. They have Universal's Adventura Hotel, Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort. You can also find the Hard Rock Hotel over here, as well as the new resorts that they're going to be building for Epic Universe, which hopefully is opening around 2025. Now, a lot of people don't consider staying on property because a lot of people don't expect Universal to kind of be a bigger resort destination like Disney World. But there are tons of perks you should consider, like transportation. Certain hotel stays actually come with that exclusive Universal Express pass, which can get pretty pricey. Traditionally, this is not a #1 must-do on our list, but we think it is because of things like the Express Pass and the fun offerings that you can grab. So if you don't know what the Express Pass is, that's essentially Universal's version of Genie Plus. It's a skip-the-line service, but it is a lot more expensive, but it takes a lot of the guessing game out. You don't have to do as much work. You can just kind of walk up, enjoy the rides. You don't have to make reservations. You don't have to worry about lightning lanes and timing and things, but it's definitely more expensive. So we don't always encourage buying it. However, if you're staying at a Universal resort and it comes with it, it's a great perk and definitely something to consider. Now, if you know that you're not doing a full week at Universal or a full Universal kind of vacation where you're splitting it between Universal and Disney, this might not be the perfect option for you. But if you want to learn more about it, Quincy has stayed at the hotels and of course has incredible coverage and incredible videos. So depending on which one you want to check out, they're all on the channel right now. So we've talked about some other food options and snacking around, but what about the table services? Because they do exist. That's why the next must-do is going to be eat at Mythos, because it's the #1 that you should try to check out. So if you don't know, Mythos restaurant is here in Islands of Adventure, and we actually really tend to like it. And I see, what are you doing? Hey, you like Mythos, ma'am. Are you a fan of Mythos? I caught you. You have to talk about it. She loves this restaurant. Oh my gosh. Hey, ma'am.
Yes.
I've heard you're a fan of Mythos. Give us your thoughts.
Give you that idea.
Every time you've ever spoken about it.
My name is Dudley Dewright. Mythos is really good. The food here is tasty. The prices are pretty cheap. I don't think it's anything like revolutionary, but it's typically relatively easy to get a table. It's air conditioned. It's a really exciting vibe in the restaurant. It kind of like feels like a Vegas restaurant. It's really exciting and heavily themed. And the food's tasty. They have a fork, knife, and spoon grilled cheese.
Yeah. When was the last time you ate here?
Just like a couple months ago, 8 weeks with DFB. I came with Bria, Cassie, and AJ from Disney Food Blog. And we went to Mythos and had a really big controversy about a vinegar dessert.
And is it in the video?
It is in the video that you can see on the channel now. And I maybe did win the argument.
Miss Do Right, why do you think that this is a must-do for people coming to Universal Resort?
I think that at Universal, table service restaurants are often overlooked, but if you're spending more than a day in Universal, I think you should experience something like that, especially as a way to rest your legs. And I think Mythos is a great way to do it without breaking the bank and still getting some tasty eats.
Now, this might not be for everybody. Who do you think should skip this must-do?
I think you should skip this if you have really limited time in Universal, just because any table service is going to be really time-consuming, or if you are more of like a snacky throughout the day kind of person instead of a meal kind of person.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Do Right.
You're welcome.
Feel free
Mr.
to run
Do
away.
Right.
Oh, okay, thank you. Another awesome must-do that you need to do when you're in Universal is sing. Sing your heart out, you sing it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're gonna talk all about live entertainment. So here at Universal, they have tons of amazing live entertainment throughout both of the parks, but in particular, some of my favorites are here at Universal. You can find things like Marilyn and the Diamonds, the Blues Brothers, Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees, the Frog Choir, etc. So now this one is absolutely a must-do, I think, because a lot of the shows here are really short. You can kind of walk by. They're not big sit-down productions like some of Disney's end up being. A lot of things at Disney, like Best of the Lion King, is a cued performance where you go in, you sit down, and it's amazing live entertainment, but it takes anywhere from like 20 to 25 minutes sometimes just for the show, not including how long you have to queue or wait in line. So the thing that I really love here about Universals is that they all tend to be a little bit shorter. They're about 10 minutes. You just walk up, you watch as much as you want, and then you can leave. I always recommend watching at least one of them. Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees is one of my personal favorites, and I just think it's a lot of fun. It makes the parks feel alive, in my opinion, and it's not a huge commitment. Now, there's a lot of stuff we've talked about, but we haven't talked about how they have made prehistoric dinosaurs come to life again. And that's because the next must-do is heading into Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, whatever your cup of tea is. Ah! A dinosaur! Oh no, it's just Quincy with red hair. Well, pretty similar. You know, blonde Quincy. You've never met blonde Quincy? Well, I think you're really missing out. She's a pretty cool chick.
You're saying about me?
No, you're cool too. You're cool too. She's just different. Jurassic Park. That is a huge section over here in Islands of Adventure, and you can even find rides like Velocicoaster over here, the massive Jurassic World themed roller coaster. There is so much cool stuff to do. You can meet a raptor. You can go on the Jurassic River adventure, which is, I'll say it, not one of my favorites. There's a lot of water on that one, but it's really, really cool. And if you're a fan of these movies, immaculately themed. I think that this is a must-do because even if you're not necessarily a fan of these movies, the rides are incredible. And where else can you meet a full-size dinosaur and maybe even see a dinosaur egg hatch? Not many places, and I think science is incredible for that. So thank you, Universal. Now, is this for everyone? Probably not. If you don't want to be eaten by a dinosaur, consider the risks before you come into Jurassic Park. But for the most part, I think there's a little something for everybody in this part. Flame on! Rah! All right, that's our next must-do. You gotta become an Avenger and be a part of Marvel. Become an Avenger, become a part of Marvel. Do you think that's a must-do for people? I'd say yeah.
I mean, the world needs more heroes.
Because you can Hulk out! Hulk! Ah! Ah! If you don't know what we're talking about, I think we've probably scared you. And that's okay. Not the first time today, probably won't be the last. But if you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about Marvel Island here in Islands of Adventure. This is, weirdly enough, a Marvel-themed land. If you don't know, Universal on this half of the country owns the theme park rights to Marvel. So not the movies. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy is over in Florida, but none of the other Avengers campus stuff is because they have a fun little contract. Really strange. Eventually it'll run out and things will change, but for now, this is where you're gonna find most of the Marvel characters. There's an awesome Spider-Man ride, which is a dark ride. There's a huge Hulk coaster where you're gonna Hulk out, and you can see a lot of famous characters like the X-Men characters, Spider-Man and Captain America. One thing that I think is super cool about this land is mainly the Hulk coaster. It is the #1 massive, super exciting coaster right over here. And before Velocicoaster was absolutely the coolest. But I think you need to do it because everybody deserves. Now this might not be for everyone. If you're not into those huge coasters, Hulk is probably not going to be the way to go for you, but definitely explore everything and at the very least give the Amazing Spider-Man a try. Our next must-do is that you need to kind of help the CIA find Jason Bourne. And you might not know it, but you're in for a wild ride. I don't know what this is. So if you did not know, here at Universal, you can check out something called the Bourne Stuntacular, which is an incredible stunt show themed to the Jason Bourne movies. It is so neat. It is like you step into the movie. They even have a slow-mo scene that is so cool. Why is the Bourne Stuntacular a must-do? We have talked a little bit about live entertainment, but this is just different. This is closer to one of those kind of Disney-like experiences where you go in, you sit down, and you see a really incredible show. If you're looking to get out of the heat and you just want to see something that's different but really, really cool, I cannot recommend this one enough. It is my favorite place to kind of go in, take a load off, and relax and chill. The only reason you might not want to do this one is if you have some big ride priorities and the crowds are pretty heavy, so that way wait times are a little bit longer, but still, if you need to sit down for a minute, highly recommend. This is going to be my #1 show where you can just pop a squat, enjoy the AC, and relax. Now this next must-do is actually not something you can do just any time that you're here, but the next thing you have to do if you're able is check out some of the incredible Universal holiday offerings. Universal might not be as known for this outside of Halloween Horror Nights, but they have some incredible holiday offerings, from things like their Mardi Gras celebration to, of course, the famous Halloween Horror Nights and even their Grinchmas celebrations. There is some really cool stuff to do around the holidays here at Universal. One of my personal favorites is actually going on at the time of filming, and that is the Mardi Gras celebration. It's essentially like a festival, kind of like an Epcot festival. They have tons of food booths out, special parades, really exciting things happening, and I absolutely adore it. It is my favorite time to be here in Universal. But with things like Halloween Horror Nights, which is a special ticketed event during Halloween, there's almost always something exciting going on at Universal. And if you're here during those times, you definitely need to check it out, because this is where Universal tends to really shine, in my opinion. There's always new foods to try. You can meet the Grinch during Christmas, which is a crazy experience because I truly think that is the real Grinch. They must hire Jim Carrey every season because he's incredible. The parades are so much fun. You can be a part of them, and you can see some really, really incredible stage shows when they do things like Grinchmas. I think this is a must-do because it really tends to elevate just any typical Universal day. Universal's a great time, but a Universal holiday is just something with a cherry on top. It is so much fun, and I think you are really missing out if you don't grab a hold of those experiences and really add it to your park days. There is no one that will dislike this must-do because you don't have to participate in it, but I think you are missing out if you're not. You're gonna try foods, you might as well try something exclusive and limited time, especially if it's good. And there's a lot of fun things that kind of keep you coming back to Universal again and again. If you've done Universal in the summer, but you've not done it for Christmas, you've not done all of Universal. For our last must-do, it is actually outside of the theme parks, and that's explore the CityWalk, because this is kind of a nightlife of its own, and Universal does not end just because the parks are closed. So if you don't know what CityWalk is, this is Universal's kind of shopping and dining district. This is where you're gonna find things like Vivo, the Cowfish, the Universal massive store, but even things like Panda Express and a Burger King. So lots of food and shopping in this area. My personal favorite, and I'm gonna ask you the same, my personal favorite thing to eat here is the Cowfish. Sage says it's overrated, but any place that I can get sushi and burgers in one meal order, I'm gonna be a happy camper. What is your personal favorite though?
I also love the Cowfish. I think I'm gonna go with kind of a weird one. I'm gonna say Toothsome.
Toothsome's actually a great one.
I had such a nice time when you and I went, which you can see the review on the channel.
Yes.
And I think that's my favorite spot.
I love it so much. We actually just went to a new for us spot, a spot that we have never eaten in Sage's Perfect Day if you want to check it out on the channel, because we end, of course, here in CityWalk. We had so much fun. You could see a lot more of kind of the CityWalk nightlife in that video. But for me, you know what else my other favorite thing is? And I love Voodoo Donuts, but you know what I'm gonna say?
What?
Menchie's.
Oh my God.
I love it.
This girl in her fro, yeah.
I love it. I also think that CityWalk just kind of is a smaller Disney Springs. There's a lot less to offer here, but it does not mean that you need to leave or skip over these options. This is a great place to have some dinner after the parks are closed, so that way you're not missing out on that precious ride time, but you still get to make sure you eat at Universal before heading back to your resort or heading home. This is a must-do because it extends your day. It has great dining options that you might not necessarily find in the theme park, and it's just a good way to relax at the end of your night. Now, if you're looking to save money, this is probably not going to be the best way to hang out at the end of the night, but that's the only reason I would tell you to skip CityWalk, is if you're looking to kind of crash in bed after a long day, or if you want to save some cash. And that's it for our 20 must-dos. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, if you're looking for more must-dos, head over to our full must-dos of Walt Disney World. I'll see you over there.